Reggie here, guys, and I'm here to tell you guys why only owning fragrances that are dupes will kill your passion or drain it really fast. And I know this is very contradictory and controversial because of how I've said, many times back then, where I suggest you guys before you commit to the full bottle, especially if it's a niche brand, which those are really expensive, that I would definitely recommend you guys to kind of commit to the dupe to see if you kind of like that type of smell, right? So yeah, and like I said, that's a bit contradictory, but hear me out. So there's of course so many reasons why, but I'm just gonna go over the main ones, and that one is it's like a hit or miss. It's like a double-edged sword. You don't really know what you're gonna get with the dupe brand of fragrance, right? You would expect sometimes to be a really good clone because and this is kind of tied to like the point where it's like you have the fragrance content creators, the really big ones, right? And you'll have them basically glazing the crap out of every single dupe because dupe brands are mostly the ones that are promoting their fragrances via the big influencers, right? So we know how that pretty much happens, and all of the fragrances, they're just gonna be 10 out of 10 bangers, beast mode, compliment getters. You won't believe what'll happen. And if you're like a teenager, especially, and you don't really know anything, much about fragrances and like anything in general, you're just gonna search on YouTube, best complimented fragrances of this month or of this year, 2026 or 2025 and stuff like that. And you're gonna get like a bunch of like highly viewed videos, and you're gonna get like some dude with a big beard and like or some dude with like some blonde hair and stuff like that telling you that those fragrances got them laid, that those fragrances are 10 out of 10s, that they are this and that it's literally the same juice but just a different bottle. And that's not true. Like I said, that's not really true, and let me tell you why. Because I have smelled so many fragrances and compare the actual dupes to the designers and the niches, and you can definitely tell the difference like night and day. There is no fragrance that is like, man, like, you know what, this is actually the same fragrance but just in a different bottle, right? And what is that difference that you can tell? That difference that I am able to tell is the quality and the ingredients and the smoothness and just the quality of the fragrance itself. For example, niche fragrances and designer fragrances, they are high quality, they are well made, they have high quality ingredients, and they are assembled perfectly, right? And how does it compare to the dupes? The dupes smell similar, but they tend to be blander. They tend to be a bit like more kind of faded smelling, a bit rougher, not as crisp as the original ones, right? So that's what they tend to be. And I'm not trying to say like they don't even smell similar, because they do. There's some that smell really similar, and there's some that don't even last, really. So you have those that are very similar, you have those that are really bad, and it's like, okay, yeah, but you're paying for that bottle for like 20, 25, 30, $40, right? And it's like a really kind of, I guess, smart thing to do. But when you become when you make that a habit of just owning, dupe fragrances, you kind of go away from that quality. You go away from that prestige of the luxury of owning a designer or a niche brand. And I know that not all of us have the same amount of income to be buying niche fragrances or designers whenever we please. I've talked to a lot of people who struggle, man. I've talked to a lot of people who struggled and they wish they even had like $100 to buy themselves a decent designer fragrance. There's people that live day to day, by checks. So who am I to tell you guys to stop buying them completely and just um you know go for the designers and the niche fragrances? But like I said, who am I to tell you guys to stop doing that? You know yourself better. You know yourself the best in when it comes down to what you can buy and what you can't. You know your limits. So like that's a really another important thing. But what I would definitely suggest is try to step away a bit from just that, consuming kind of a bad habit of just dupe fragrances. Because like I mentioned, yes, they're really good because when you want to commit to a full bottle of let's say Creed Aventus, or maybe let's say a Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance, right? And whatever, right? So before you commit to that one, it's like always really nice and safe to just buy the dupe, because like it's cheap, it's gonna smell similar, and you'll see if you like it. But and this has happened to me, like I just realized it, and I love dupe fragrances, but I know they're pros and cons. But like I got to a point where I was just buying so many dupe fragrances, and I had this like moment of realization. Yes, they smell good, but they don't give you that satisfaction that a designer fragrance brand does when you have it. Like for example, Blue de Chanel, even though like everyone has smelled this, even though this is a super highly concentrated used, brand, right? It's like very repetitive, but and just the fragrance overall. But even though it's that used, like who cares? It's Chanel, right? It's Chanel, who cares? And to some people that may not care, right? But it may not care right now. You may not think like you may be like, I don't care, right? But over time, you're gonna get I don't want to say fed up, but you're gonna start noticing that it's not really filling the void anymore, and you're gonna want something else. And that's when a lot of people tend to kind of just, I'm not saying completely stop consuming the dupes, but they kind of say, you know what, if I used to buy 3 fragrances of dupes a month, I will save and only do like once a month, and then next month I'll probably save up for a designer. So to me, that's like a really good thing, because um, you're not only are you saving money, but you're also controlling your compulsive, um, buying habits. So yeah, like I said, your wallet's gonna be better. Your self control is gonna be a lot better. So that's what I would honestly recommend you guys. Like I said, um, if you think I'm just kind of crazy for this, it's okay. We all think differently, but this is one of the things that I have, seen a lot, and I've even heard it from people. It's just talking to them, and they've said that, like, yeah, they feel like dupe fragrances are really good, but they're just kind of they kind of you get fed up to at some point with them. So overall, I've it's up to you to choose what you want to do, but that's one of my biggest advices that I can give you guys, especially. And this only applies for people, like I said, who go based off on just owning uh dupe fragrances, because I have like 30 dupe brands. I mean 30 dupe fragrances, which is kind of bad, but hey, like I said, we all learn at some point. So, like always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And yeah, I love reading you guys' comments. And I hope that this was able to resonate with you and you were able to stay this far into the video. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. It's been Reggie. Peace.